Yo, and welcome back to the channel. Mangily, my first year living in Madagascar. In this first part of two videos, I'll tell you how I ended up living in a small tourist village with a fantastic beach, fantastic people, water sports, including diving. There's also a spine forest there, where you'll find many tortoises. Mangily has doubled in size since I was living there, and they've even got electric now, and instead of having a dirt track, there's a brand new tarmac road, so it's nice and easy to access Mangily now. I was living there back in 2012 to 2013. One thing to note before we start is I don't edit videos, and on top of that I'm dyslexic, so this could be a problem, this video, because normally I just wing the video, I just turn the video on and off I go. But this time I've done a load of notes, and being dyslexic, sometimes I can't even read my own writing. So if there's a pause in the video, bear with me. I'm trying my best, I really am. It's just because there's a word that I've wrote out on a piece of paper that's spelt wrong, and I can't even read it, and I'm thinking, oh, what does that say? And then I'll start fretting, and then I don't know what to do, and then I think, just stop the video and start again. So this is take 3 of the video. I'm going to try and go this one right the way through, and it comes out how it comes out. So let's do it. So yeah, before I lived in Mangily, I lived in the UK, in England, and then I moved from there to Mangily. I lived in Mangily for 1 year before I moved to Toliara. So in this video I'm going to tell you the story about how I ended up pretty much living in Mangily, why I moved from Mangily after a year, and then in the part 2 we'll do Toliara, which hopefully I'll probably put up a day after this one. I'll try and put this video up today, but it is quite hard with the Wi-Fi connection at the moment. I don't know whether there's too many tourists here, and now they're all sucking the Wi-Fi up, so there's none left for me, or what's going on. But it's very hard to upload the videos at the moment. It can take hours to upload a 10-minute, 15-minute video, and this video is likely to be about 25 minutes or something long. So let's get started. Let's get on with it. Toliara region. It's a huge, big region in the south of Madagascar mainland. You've got Fort de Fan city, you've got Toliara city, there's a couple of nice little villages along the coast. Mainly the inside, there's not so much. Most of the stuff that you want to see in Toliara region, and probably in the rest of Madagascar, you'll find it on the outskirts, the outside of Madagascar, not on the interior bit. That's what I find anyway. You've also got Morenby, you've got Morendava, the Avenue de Baobabs is also found in Toliara region, so there's a lot of reasons for visiting Toliara. The flights to get to Toliara I would advise taking, because the road system is terrible. It really is a bad road, the RN7 now. It's destroyed. So very, very bumpy. 24 hours on a taxi bus, 20 hours in a private Land Cruiser. It's hellish, to be honest with you. It's hellish to get there, but when you get there, it's paradise. So everything comes with good bits and bad bits, I guess. Located on a broad coastal plain in the southwest of Madagascar mainland. The Tropic of Capricorn Circle can be found not only in Australia and South America, but also in the region of Toliara in Madagascar. It is hot there, and we'll go into that in a second. The temperatures are pretty much probably the highest in the country, I would say, on average. The locals have a saying there. They say Toliara mafana, meaning Toliara hot, and it really is. Not all year round, but most of the year it's roasting there. I like the heat. I'm happy with it. I lived with it very nicely for 8 years, and it was no problem for me. I like it more than the rains, and obviously in the north of Madagascar you get rainy season a lot worse than you do in the south. It's very sandy and very dry in the south. Desert-like conditions there, cactuses and things like that. Mind you, what they say, if you can't stand the heat, don't stay in the kitchen. So, obviously, if you don't like the heat, don't go to Toliara. I lived there in the Toliara region from 2012 to 2020, and I can honestly say it was one of the best decisions I've ever made after moving from England, where I was caring for my old late mother from 2009 due to cancer until 2012 when she passed away. At that time, I decided that there's no reason for me to hang around in the UK. Now's my opportunity to escape the rat race in the UK. So I closed my property development business down. I had a big rental business as well, where I was subletting properties and then renting them out to unemployed people through government benefit systems and stuff like that. I was making really good money, to be honest with you. I was getting something like £7,000 a week or something in rent, so I was doing pretty good. And I give it all up, the whole lot. I just closed all the claims, give the guys a notice, and within a couple of months I was packed up with my rucksack and I was ready to head out of the door to Manchester Airport and board my one-way flight to Madagascar. So that's exactly what I did. I arrived in Antananarivo, the capital of Madagascar. I think I bought, what was it? It was Kawasaki Brute Force 750cc quad. It was absolute beast, very powerful machine. It was second hand, about a year old, and I paid €5,000 for it. And it did the trick. It was perfect vehicle for going around Madagascar, although it did seem to pick up a lot of nails and things like that. But it was perfect for exploring the north of Madagascar, which is where I went from Tana directly. I went to Manjunga, I went to Diego, and I went to Tamatave before heading back to Tana and heading south to see a small village that I'd read up on called Mangily, spelled Mangily, Mangily. Basically translates to itchy. So there you go. I'm not sure what it was about the village, but I just knew, even before I went to Madagascar, I just knew that Mangily would be the place that I wanted to live. So, but I didn't want to just go there directly and move there. I wanted to check a little bit more of the island out. But seeing Manjunga, Diego, Tamatave, very nice places, nice locations to live. But Mangily, I was right all along. It was perfect. It fitted me like a glove. After arriving in Toliara at 7 p.m. on the quad, I was advised not to drive the 31 kilometres of the road, which is basically a dirt track from Toliara to Mangily village. They said, don't drive it in the dark, it's dangerous. I said, thank you very much to the police at the roadside gatekeeper post that they had, and I pulled the throttle down and off I went. The feeling that I was just 31 kilometres from my new life wasn't about to lock me down in a hotel room in Toliara city for the night. It took me about 30 minutes on the quad to get there, and I didn't see a single other vehicle on the road. It was that quiet. Literally, that road at that time, sometimes I actually waited in Mangily sometimes to get a taxi bus if my quad was broken or whatever, sold, or I don't know what I did, but I needed a taxi bus, and I remember waiting there for 8 hours at the side of the road, waiting for a bus to come past so I could go to the city and get some shopping. Because although Mangily has a lot, it doesn't have a supermarket. So if you want any Western products, you realistically need to go to the city, to Toliara. It's the same for the people who live even in the Toliara region. They all head towards Toliara to go shopping for major items. So, the road from Toliara to Mangily and beyond to Morecambe was built and tarmacked in about 2019 and is now fairly safe to travel on. There was bandits back in the day. The problem isn't so much now the bandits, which there isn't really too many incidents of any problems, to be honest with you. You could go your whole life driving on that 31 kilometre road every day and not have a problem. But the main problem is that people use the road as a racetrack basically to see how fast they can get from Toliara to Mangily and see if they can beat their last score that they had their last time. So it's dangerous. There's many people that have been killed in road traffic accidents, along with many when they first built the road. Many got run over, from children to adults, to dogs, to cats, to goats, to pigs, to cows. There was many people and animals that got run over. Many. It's because obviously the Madagascar in that village, some people have never left the village. They've never literally been out the village or been outside of Toliara. So the speed, they just could not judge the speed of vehicles coming down the road at like 70, 80 kilometres an hour. So there you go, unfortunate, but hopefully things are getting a bit better and people are starting to learn about road safety. There are speed bumps being put in now, so you've got speed bumps, which is good, which helps slow the vehicles down. On arrival in Mangily tourist village, I soon found a rental house and made friends with the locals. I was one of a handful of locals, of foreigners living in Mangily. At the time, there was literally maybe 5 of us, something like that, maybe 5, 6 of us who were living there, who were foreigners, and probably around about 700 locals living there. So there you go. Just waiting for my family to arrive here and bring their kids in. He just had twins. My friend and his wife just had twins. So there we go. Let's move on. Where were we? I was one of a handful of locals living there. But I literally didn't associate with any foreigners. I associated with the locals, literally 24/7. I became one of them. To this day, even, I'm loved by those original locals that I lived with back in the day. For my generosity, and my kindness, my respect towards them. One of the villagers even named his child after me, which is nice. I'm not trying to brag or big myself up in any way. It's just the way it is. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys about what it was like living there. I wanted to get away from the Western mentality and the way of life so badly that at the time that it was like having a broken heart, really. My family in the UK had all gone, and I'd been working hard, just working, hadn't had any time for myself, hadn't had much time to travel at all. So it was perfect time to get me clothes, throw them in my rucksack, and grab me bank card, my ID. Luckily, I had a good business, so I had a bit of money, which is handy because you need money in Madagascar. It's not so easy to just get a job here, especially when the salaries are like €2 a day. It's not perfect for a foreigner. So if you've got a bit of passive income, that's the way to go. I throw all my stuff in the bags, and I drove to Mangily for the first time. It was my escape, basically, going to Mangily. My quantum leap, my new start. My heart was well on the way to it being mended. within 12 hours the sun was out in force, and I was part of the tribe. It was like being in a different world. It was literally like being in a different world, and being with different people and people that you'd never been with before. You know, obviously being English, you don't really associate with many people from different countries or backgrounds or origins. You tend to stick to your own, and I haven't associated very much with Africans or Malagasy. I didn't even know any Malagasy before I moved to Madagascar. Or any Malagasy, I should say. Didn't know any. But yeah, it was nice to get there and to be part of a community again, have friends and have a whole new opportunity of doing whatever I want, you know, starting something fresh, starting life fresh. I like that. I like doing that. I wanted to get away from the Western mentality and that life, you know. It was just what I'd had enough. I'm sure you know what I mean. A lot of you who are watching this video, I'm sure a lot of you know what I mean there, because it's a hard life in Europe. People think here that all Europeans are millionaires and it's extremely easy life and all the rest, and you don't do anything, you just enjoy life and you've got loads of money and no worries. But I've tried to explain to many people in Madagascar, the people in the West are no different from the people in Madagascar. It's just a different lifestyle. But that lifestyle is what I craved, and now I've got it, and I'm very, very happy. Even to this day, I'm happy. I've had my bad days in Mangily, in Toliara, in Diego, in Nosy B, but I've had a lot more good days, I'll tell you that much. Mangily, right? Back to Mangily. It's a small village located in the wider surrounding area of Ifaty Bay. The village of Ifaty is a small fishing village. It's well worth a visit, but it's not a tourist village as such. There is Reef Doctor there, which is a British NGO, ONG, whichever way you want to put it, charity, a British charity which helps conserve the reef, which is why it's called Reef Doctor, I guess. That's there. A lot of fishing huts and fishing boats, and a small handful of foreigners that live there, wild foreigners that live there, live like the quiet life, living really off the beaten track, which is what Ifaty is. It's off the beaten track for certain. Obviously, you need to be strong to live in Ifaty, and the people there are strong. They're fishermen. They live a hard life. They work for their money. You know what I mean? They work hard, collecting sticks, making charcoal, building houses, little local huts for themselves to live in. It's very simple life, but a very hard life. But well worth going there for an hour or so. Take your camera, get some photographs, go check the place out. I think there's a small bar in the middle of Ifaty where you can have a nice cold Coca-Cola. It's nice, and you can see how the locals really live. A great place for going there and relaxing. Go check out the beach there. You can't really go swimming on the beach. It's a little bit local. It's probably dirty, to be honest with you. But Ifaty is not where it's at. Mangily is where it's at. You'll find a wide range of accommodation, ranging from simple beach huts for €5 a night to lovely hotels costing upwards of €100 a night, like the Dunes Hotel. Very nice hotel in Mangily, right on the end of the beach. There's a massive oversupply of rooms though, massive oversupply. Maybe 1,000 hotel rooms, and sometimes you're lucky if you find 5 tourists in Mangily. So you can be classed as being very special if you go there. You get this very special feeling that you're a very special person, even though you're not. You're just an average Joe, but they do give you this special feeling. Everybody's friendly and happy, waving. The kids are fantastic. very loving and friendly kids, always waving at you. It's very refreshing. The Wi-Fi isn't refreshing. The Wi-Fi is pretty bad, but I've got a feeling with Starlink, I suspect this will improve in time. There's restaurants serving Western food alongside restaurants selling Malagasy food. So all day and most of the night it's possible to buy a meal from the street vendors. You can pay like 50 cents for a plate full of food. Whether you'll get deli belly, I don't know. But I was generally alright with the food, but there is obviously flies get on it and stuff like that. But so to be careful with the food, you don't want food poisoning, but you'll probably end up with food poisoning going to Africa anyway, one time or another. They generally have salads, pasta, rice, beef, fish, laid out on a big long table where you can just sit on the bench in front, pick what you want, and they'll serve it up to you, and you sit there with the locals and the tourists alike and enjoy. The village is it's safe. It's a safe village, even with only a handful of police to maintain order. Of the 1,000 or so probably inhabitants now, I really don't know what the figure is. I think it's a very hard figure to find out what the population of Mangily village is. But I would say it's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people, and it is growing fast. There's a lot of people moving there from around Madagascar, especially from the forest areas, looking for work, looking for business, looking for income. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button to be a part of our nomad community, and smash the like button for me, as it'll help with the algorithm. Nightlife is what you've all been waiting for. In Mangily, it's wild. It really is wild in Mangily. There's a lot of bars, mainly along the main road, but there are some that go down towards the beach as well. I own one of the bars that I'm actually looking to sell on this year, but back in the day when I lived there, it was probably the number one bar at the time. It was a fantastic bar. There was one other. There's a guy called what's he called? What's the guy called? Think. What's his name? No, maybe it'll come back to me. But no, Pata. My bar's next door to Pata's bar, and his bar, it's a little bit more expensive than mine, but he does have live music now and again. He's a music man from Madagascar. They literally, we had the bars pumping when I was there. We had my bar pumping from 6 a.m. in the morning till 3 a.m. most days, 7 days a week. I didn't shut it. It was like open dusk till dawn. I shut it down to convert the bar because the bar was doing so well. I decided that I'd shut it down and turn it from a small bar into a big nightclub. But COVID intervened, and when COVID intervened, they stopped us working. And at the end of the day, all I could do was go travelling. So I went to Diego and lived there for 6 months. And then Manjunga for 6 months, so a year in Manjunga, and COVID still carried on. So I didn't get a chance to finish my bar, and then my wife got a job offer. But we'll get into that. Anyway, I'm probably looking to sell the bar for €21,000. I've got a few buyers who are interested. I've had people say, "Oh, I'll buy it." I'm just like, yeah, okay. When I come down there, we'll talk about it. So I'm not really in any rush to sell it, but I do want to sell it now. I'm ready to sell it and move on. There's no point having a bar that's 2,000 kilometres away from where I live. It's just craziness. And especially seeing as my wife took a contract to work in the government schooling system for from 2022, something like that. She took a job about 3 years ago, something like that. So I basically give up Toliara living there just so my wife could get a job, because I would have gone back after living in Diego and Manjunga if COVID had ended. I would have gone back from there to Toliara and cracked on with my business, built me discotheque nightclub, and I'd be there now every night partying. But instead of that, I'm here talking to you guys, doing my YouTube in Nosy B, building me apartments. Obviously I'll redirect the money that I get from the sale of the bar. I'll redirect it into my apartment build, because that's going to swallow up easy €80,000. So that'll help. That'll be 25% of it, which is good, because I'm pretty poor at the moment. I'm running out of money, running low on funds. It's all allocated, my money. I'm rich on paper and poor in the pocket, but that's the way to be, I reckon, for passive income. Every night the bars fill up with the locals to this day, looking for good times. Also you get foreigners as well that are there, tourists and residents alike who live there. It's a fantastic place for bars. It's wild. It is like the film, if you've seen the film Dusk Till Dawn. It's like that. The bars, like people getting absolutely smashed. The rum's flowing, the beers are flowing. Where the money comes from to pay for it, I don't know. But I've got a feeling that a lot of the wives wait outside the husbands' workplaces on paydays to try and collect their wages before they head off to bars like mine. That's what I suspect. But Madagascar got no problems paying for beer. They like paying for beer. As for the ladies, along with the cheeky beach boys, there's many of them looking for love and happiness, along with a way to find the American dream. How do you get there? How do I get a green card? Oh, I love you, baby. Get me a passport. I moved out of Mangily after a bad, dangerous breakup with my first Malagasy kind of wife. I did a Fumbagas, which is a local marriage ceremony with a lady there back in the day, when I didn't really know a lot about any of that sort of thing. I didn't know nothing about Fumbagasses for a start. I didn't even realise I was getting married. I thought it was like a meet the parents sort of thing. Anyway, after breaking up with her, I thought it's probably best to move out of Mangily due to her father. He's a dangerous character, to be honest with you. Oh, it's got some live music. That's great. Fantastic. Just what we need for the video. I don't know what that is, but maybe it's a bar across the way or something. Maybe it's going to go on all night. It might be a party, or it might be just a car or something going past. I don't know. But it's nice, a bit of music. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the algorithm and get me demonetized. But there you go. Yeah, dangerous guy, father. Like he literally, long and short story is that he found out that somebody in the village had money. He went round, knocked on the door, asked the guy to give all the money to him, and the guy said, I ain't got the money from the sale of the land, I put it in the bank, I ain't got it here. And he said, don't lie to me, give me the money. He said, no, I ain't got it, it's in the bank. And so he shot him point blank, killed him outright on the doorstep in front of the guy's wife, who witnessed the whole thing. She went to justice and pointed him out, went to police, pointed him out, he got arrested, went to justice. Turns out that my father-in-law, his father, was actually the chief of the justice in Toliara, which kind of helped his case somewhat, and he was released without charge. Nothing, no evidence there, definitely wasn't him, let him go. So he was let go, and then a year later I broke up with his daughter, and obviously me breaking up with his daughter means that he's obviously going to be unhappy, and he's not going to like it due to me switching off the money tap, which was heading his direction on a regular basis. So yeah, I moved to Toliara to create my life there. I still obviously went to Mangily on a regular basis. I just didn't live there or sleep there anymore, and left it for a little while. Now it's alright, it's all died off, nothing's going to happen now, and we've moved on, he's moved on, she's moved on, she's got another French Vazar foreigner, she's happy, he's built her a little house, all's good. Well, that's it folks, thanks for watching, and join me for part 2, where I'll do the Toliara part of the video. hopefully I'll get it up tomorrow, and that'll be nice, where I can tell you what I did in the next 7 years of my life. Thanks for watching.